Hey everybody, it's Dylan from Site C Design, and I wanted to talk to you today about blogging and just give a quick overview of how to create a new blog post using any of our Kadence-based themes, a few tips and tricks, what to look out for, how I prefer to blog, and give you a little guide. So here we go. First, I wanted to show you, if you go into the customizer and go into general and then layout, these are your main content widths, and 1290 is very standard. So you'll want to export all of your images to be at least 1290 pixels wide, including your verticals if you plan on doing full width verticals, or the verticals can be smaller than that if you plan on making diptychs, which we'll cover later. You'll also see that we have a narrow content width of 950. You can set your blog posts either individually or for all of your blog posts to use that narrow width. So then you could export around 950 or larger. And then finally, you can set your blog posts to be full width. If you do that, you're probably going to be wanting to export somewhere around 1800 to 2500 pixels wide, depending on which monitors you want to optimize for. Okay, so once we have that out of the bag, whenever you're going to start a new blog post, you go to your dashboard, there's this plus new sign at the top, and you can go to post. All right, so you hit that plus sign, and now we have a new blog post. This is just using the regular block editor. We're going to talk about SEO settings in a bit. I'm going to hide those. I'm going to hide that content analysis. Now, keep in mind, I don't have the design library hooked up on this demo account, but if you click on design library, you'll have your Site C Design section here, and we have example blog posts that you can plop in and just modify, replace the images, replace the text, etc. So to start, let's add a title. So example blog post. And then over here on the right, you'll see that you have your slug. So if you want to change that from your title, sometimes you want it to be a little bit more simple, really direct for the topic that you're optimizing for. You can do that there. You'll also want to set a category. So maybe let's say this is a wedding. Add tags if you're using tags for any sort of organization. And then finally, you're going to want to set a featured image. So here, we're just going to pick any image that we think is going to be featured. Typically, you want that to be a horizontal image. So we'll set this as the featured. Okay, so now we're good to go. So now we can start writing some text, maybe intro. Intro text goes here. After the intro, I'm going to hit / to pick out which blocks I want to do. I want to add a table of contents, but I'm going to be tricky because I want to be able to format this a little bit. I'm going to add a row layout first, and I like to just do a single column. And then in that row layout, I'm going to add my table of contents block. Now this table of contents is going to grab all of the headings throughout the rest of the content, and you can tell it which to either hide or include. And so sometimes I like to only include, let's say, up to H3s. And if I use H4s and H5s, those are going to be like very much supporting information for those sections, but I don't need them included in this table of contents overview. Sometimes you're only using H2s in this table of contents. It really depends on your content, how it's structured, but I like to set that properly. We'll add a few headings just so we can see those pop up. So maybe for a typical blog post that's maybe just a single session, you might only have 1 or 2 headings. For a more informational blog post, those can have quite a few. For headings, I like to use the Kadence Advanced Text block. So we're going to say cool heading H2, and then on that text, you can pick which H tag or paragraph tag or span or div that you're using. It's different HTML elements. I'm going to say this is an H2. You can also pick which font size you want. Otherwise, it's going to go to your default for your theme. You can set a different font family. Otherwise, it's going to go to the default of the theme. More text here. And let's do another heading. And we're going to make this one an H3. Okay, so if this was a single session, maybe this is like one of the more main topics for this session. It might be like weddings at Hoyt And keep in mind, on most blog post templates, the title is going to go into the H1. So then your H2 might be like an alternative topic. It might be a supporting topic, etc. And then H3s, I might do something like about the venue or something. So yeah, but let's get into photos. So for photos, we have a few options. And first is we can just do single photos one by one as we add them. So you can, I like to grab a file folder on my desktop, and I'll just like include that here. So I grab, these are just random photos from a photography we've worked with, and you can just drag it into the editor. And that's all you have to do. It's going to go full size. This is the standard WordPress image block. Sometimes I do like the Kadence advanced image block. I can say, hey, go full size, don't just be large. It's going to make that nice and clear. You can play around with any of these other settings. You can add borders, etc. But typically that's all you have to do. Alternatively, you can make a gallery. And to do that, you just select multiple images. So I'm going to select a few images here, drag those in like that. And it automatically kind of creates whatever. This is a WordPress gallery. This is doing like 3 triptych plus 1. I'm going to say make this an advanced gallery from Kadence. And then I'm going to hit this over here to be single column. And then you can adjust your gutter. 10 pixels is standard. And you'll also want to change sometimes this top margin and top padding. Nope, that looks good. On the live site, this gap won't be as large as it's showing in the editor. If it is, you can adjust those margins and paddings. So this is how you can easily create like a multiple image gallery. Next, let's do a diptych of side-by-side verticals. Let me see if I can find a few here. Here we go. All right, so this is going to be the same sort of deal. I just selected 2 images and dragged them into the block editor. And this automatically did 2 columns using the WordPress gallery. You can also do an advanced gallery and set these to full size. And I'm not sure why this isn't going full width here. Oh, it's set to 3 columns. There we go. Let's do 2. Okay, so we should be filling out the full width as long as your images are large enough. You can also set that gutter size. And then you have a cool trick here where if we go to the style, let's see, advanced. Let me remember here. Oh yeah, sorry. If you're on the general and you hit individual, this tells based on screen size, if it should be 2 photos side by side or 1 full width. And so on mobile, these would go to 1 full width. And it really depends on if you think that this would be better, if you better serve the story by having these full width on a phone. Sometimes tall photos on a phone can be overwhelming. So you can change these to all be 2 here, and that will make it so the phone only still gets the diptych. The images will just be smaller. Now, if you're only using these galleries for the diptych, you can save this as a default by going to the advanced, going to block defaults and hitting save as default. Then every time you add 2 images, it'll stay 2 columns side by side on both desktop and mobile. So that is pretty simple. Let's look and see if we have any other. Let's see, here's our table of contents. We have our featured image. Oh yeah, SEO settings real quick. So whichever SEO plugin you're using, it's likely to grab the title. Sometimes you have to save the draft first. There we go. It's going to grab the title, and we typically say throw the title in here and then a separator of some sort and then the brand name of the photographer, but you can also override it by writing your own custom title in this box, because sometimes for SEO you want to slightly modify it. So maybe this is like the best example post for 2024, something like that. You can also write a meta description if you'd like. That's pretty much it. You should be now able to publish. If you have any questions on how to create a quick blog post and want help, just reply to this video. Alternatively, here's another thing I just thought about. If you're using any of the blog tools like Narrative or PickTime, etc., you're going to need to do all of the same steps and then go to the custom HTML block and then put their embed code in this custom HTML block, and that will embed your blog post from them. Awesome. So if you have any questions, just reply to this video or let us know in the Facebook group and we'd be happy to help. Talk soon.